Blessed day, soul family. Welcome to this short video about Taiji for couples. Unfortunately, Nona is unable to join us. I hope that I can provide enough information to give you an idea, and I'll try to conjure up my Nona spirit so that I can uh, um, translate and transcend and transmute what she might be wanting to say with a particular slide. Let's dive in. Here goes nothing. The idea of Taiji for couples, couple things should be fun, and we want to be laughing, and we want to be connecting, we want to be looking at each other, and of course in contact as it's body practice. And for me, it comes down to connection, physical, emotional, and spiritual communication through the body, through the senses, through the energy. And we're striving for harmony, working together, living together, moving together, making decisions together. Um, as we know that conflict is just inevitable. So, what we try to do is prepare ourselves for those difficult moments, difficult situations where we need to draw upon some skills and some practices just to kind of help get us over the curve. Like any of these other practices, um, especially in the Eastern tradition, which has been around for 6 to 8,000 years, there's so much knowledge and wisdom that we can draw upon. So, Taiji for couples is a practice where two people who are invested in a long term relationship can engage with each other in a fully embodied way, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, subtly, in a nuanced way, non verbally, and we pose the question, perhaps spiritually? So, this is because the concept of Taiji Chuan and Qigong and any of these Eastern ancient arts come from deep spiritual and philosophical tenets, practices, and roots. Specifically, we honor what's called the five regulations in a personal fulfillment practice. The five regulations include the body, the breath, the mind, the chi, and the spirit body. And those can kind of be seen from the physical, the more temporal, to the more etherical, spiritual, nuanced. We'll go more into that and into those concepts. Why learn Taiji for couples? So we've kind of built this program to reinforce the Eastern practices, connection, communication, harmony for us, for ourselves. So we utilize these concepts, and the Taiji for couples is geared towards the partnership. So this reinforces continued partnership. Think about like a sustainable um, relationship, sustainable partnership. Um, this hopes to foster gratitude for one another, gratitude for the moment, gratitude for the experience, gratitude for the relationship, and for the opportunity, and for the resilience to see the things that come in, and come forth through life as moments to find more of that resilience through the practices. This facilitates and supports spirituality. To succinctly put it, the view to see one another as a sacred individual and within that divine embodiment and divine self as a spiritual pursuit, we bring that into the goals and the practices here in this program. So sometimes, so this embodies spirit principles and goals. A lot of these esoteric or philosophical, spiritual pursuits, we can intellectually understand, like, we are all one. But how can we feel that and sense that? Bring it into the body. When we know it in the body, we have the felt sense experience that roots knowledge. So that's why the process of embodiment is important. And this informs and guides self growth and practice, as we are very lucky here in the West to have many of our needs met, and the conditions are such that we're able to practice spirituality for ourselves and for one another. It's incumbent upon ourselves to continue that self growth and progression and practice. And this program gives us the opportunity to do so. What's the goal? Keep it simple, silly. Connection on the physical basis as the foundational basis, emotional connection, understanding, hearing, validating, empathic presence to one another, spiritual connection. If you decide to seek lifelong partnership till the end, then that really brings in that spiritual component till you know that everything's temporary. That's why this is so sacred, because you know that there's an end to it. There's an end to each of our lives, where we go back to the grand beyond. Another goal is communication. What does communication, and I hope that the program can provide a little bit more information on how we define communication in Tai Chi practice. Gosh, communication is necessary to listen, to understand, and to be able to respond um, in a well informed way. Understanding is an interpersonal exchange. It's something that, we strive for and seek for. Many times, the root of the conflict is a lack of understanding or a misunderstanding. So we should hope to have the skill to be able to excavate misunderstandings and seek understanding. And lastly, harmony. Harmony as in balance, as in resilience, as in partnership, and seeing our large, powerful, grand forces as sovereign individuals trying to make an impact and contribute to the world, how our partnership can be in union with those forces and, oof, magnify the potentiality. The vision is to increase harmony, reduce conflict, and restore heart minded consciousness, one couple at a time. We have this saying in Chinese Qigong about dual cultivation, Suang Shou, where the martial arts was cultivated in the monasteries because spirituality was to be cultivated alongside the martial practices. And this is the hope of, so that also pertains to the the dual cultivation of partners in practice. So, partners in practice now gives us the opportunity to externalize our self individual mind body practice. I hope this becomes more apparent as we move along. The mission is to facilitate the understanding and experience of Taiji skills in the context of relationship to create embodied and sustainable partnerships. So, if you're a person who really gravitates toward heart, mind, consciousness, intentional living, spirituality, and you want to contribute to the world, bring your self practice, spiritual practice, mind body practice into the external world, this program allows you to now begin to bring your partner into your sacred journey as a conscious individual. And so, as we live to promote peace on the planet, we take care of ourselves, we self regulate and adhere to our discipline and our practice so that we can bring the peace to the world that we want to see. So now with our Tai Chi couples partnership and practice, we put those same skills to work to magnify our ability to produce harmony and coherence and consciousness on the planet. Our core values are to make friends with pain and conflict. Just as we do in the body, when something arises in our personal field and we do our internal work to harmonize with it and utilize it for our personal learning and growth, that's how we see conflict coming up. And that minimizing and mitigating of the pain moment of that conflict to seek more of that understanding and harmony. We value that connection and the maintaining of that connection. Maintain connection and adherence. Adherence is huge in Tai Chi practice and the partner practice for Tai Chi because you have to maintain physical contact to gain the information from your partner. So that'll be really key. The cultivation of deep listening and understanding, again through that connection and adherence, maintaining that contact, sticking sticking to it and with it, even if it's uncomfortable, riding through that discomfort to see that transitional space moving towards a place towards harmony. Speaking to nonviolence and nonviolent communication, we hope to transcend the right and wrong paradigms that are prevalent more in the media streams. That includes like the hero villain paradigm, which don't necessarily help with the pursuits toward harmony. We value curiosity and the ability to stay curious. That's really fun and crucial and important. And it contrasts to the desire to know or to judge. We value deepening sensitivity and building responsiveness. So, our teacher always asks us, how deep can you feel? How deep can you go? With that, whatever practice, with that, whatever technique, with whatever skill that you're trying to cultivate, how deep can you go? How um, in your nerves, in your nervous system, and your sense of feeling and internal knowing, how deep can you make that? And as you are on a personal practice and journey to cultivate awareness within yourself, your deep self, you want to cultivate that spiritual depth with your partner. And you'll learn about coiling and more in the Tai Chi practice. Always be coiling. The coil is the spiral, the template of nature. When you go out in nature and you look at all the spirals you see and we see, and we replicate that in Tai Chi Chuan as the template for nature's creative energy and force. A little excerpt from one of our teacher's books about Taiji Chuan. There's always theory and there's always practice. So keep that in mind. The word jing here, oops, sorry. The word jing that you see means energy or pathway of force. So there's listening energy, sensing energy, understanding energy, connection energy. In Tai Chi, those are all the things that those are the skill sets we try to develop. So the first step is to build up your sensitivity in the sensing Jing, the sensing energy. Those are plural, sensing Jings, listening Jing, understanding Jing. Those two are the foundation of all Tai Chi martial techniques. So my teacher was a martial arts teacher. Like I said, we're using these techniques for nourishment and healing, which these you'll find in traditional Chinese medicine as well, supported and propagated. So those listening and understanding are the foundation techniques to develop practice of adhering and sticking, which essentially is connection. The sticking energy is staying with it, staying connected, staying present until you can, quote unquote, hear and understand the partner's energy. You want to try to understand the partner's energy and hear it beyond the capacity of the ears through the sensing of the skin and the body. Otherwise, you won't be able to understand the intention and the power to harmonize effectively. So you can see how I'm changing the words from martial art technique to harmonizing technique for partnership. So if you want to look more, find out more information, there's a book on Qigong theory, Tai Chi theory, look at Buddhism, nonviolent communication, and interpersonal neurobiology. The first two you can find really good books from my teacher, Dr. Yang Jwing Ming. Any Buddhism or mindfulness um, resources about the Four Noble Truths, about suffering, reducing suffering, the Eightfold Path, how to reduce suffering through right view, wrong view, right action, um, nonviolent communication, learning how to give continuously, give willingly to oneself and to partnership, and reducing enemy images which are prevalent in the modern day media spheres. And interpersonal neurobiology is about the brain science in terms of attachment and connection and how mind is located internally and externally. And so that helps to produce a partnered, coherent mind. The Taiji principles and the core values you'll learn. And again, this is about embodying what are more philosophical tenets and spiritual pursuits, but embodying yin and yang energies Wu Ji energy, Tai Chi energy. Yin Yang is, we've seen that image of the white and the black and the two dots. Understanding Yin Yang, we need to go deeper into what Wu Ji is and what Tai Chi is. Uh, we value the three powers in the large universe. um, the Chinese scholars valued the San Sai, the three powers, heaven energy, earth energy, and humankind as the mediator in between. Humankind as one soul family, one large energy. And we value the unification of nature and nature's spirit, natural spirit. As so in Tai Chi, the goal, the ultimate pursuit is the reunification of one's personal energy with the energy of nature. We want to follow the Tao, known as the way, the grand spiritual godly way, trying to follow the Tao. And we look towards nature to get the clues. And we value listening and following, leading and following and leading, and learning through the pursuit of harmony, when to lead and when to follow. The practices help give us the opportunities to learn and embody those skills, and we cultivate that internal kung fu, the nature kung fu, the internal vision, nay internal, sure nature, internal kung fu. Kung fu as being gong fu, as the propagation of skill and proficiency through time and effort. And the skills that we aim to embody are connection, listening, identifying opportunities, understanding, and to harmonize. The last one here, just to kind of bring this all full circle, another quote from my teacher. Or actually, this is him translating ancient scripture. The movements of Tai Chi Chuan are manifested externally, which belongs to the yang, the physical that we can see. So the movements are manifested externally into the yang dimension. When the functions of Xin and Yi, which are heart and mind, when they are applied to our spiritual feeling and pursuit, I would say, they direct us toward the correct way of being and of cultivating our human nature through efforts toward strengthening the mind, raising the spirit to comprehend the real meaning of human life. From this, we further comprehend the meaning and the relationship amongst our fellow humans and humankind, between the humans and all the other natural objects around us, so that we can search for the truth of nature in heaven and earth. The relationship between humans and objects around us, and also searching for the truth of nature in heaven and earth. And that truth we find as a microcosm in our internal grand universe, which is a microcosm of the great grand universe. So we look at the three energy centers, the upper energy center, middle energy center, lower energy center, as a microcosm of the grand universe: heaven, earth at the gut, and humankind at the heart, harmonizing those three. And as we do that, we help to regulate the field around us in the planet, harmonizing heaven and earth. Hope that's something that speaks to you. That is it. If you'd like to reach out and learn more, uh, let's see, email at talkingchi at gmail.com, talkingqi@gmail.com, or you can find us at yinyangtaichi.org. Yinyang, Taiji, yinyangtaichi.org. And that's where you'll find our course. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Remember, embrace the woo, and may your chi flow smoothly.